It's no secret that WWE 2K20 was an absolute failure. From the moment the game was announced leading up to today, March 9, 2020, it was clear as day that this game would not be deemed successful. When the game was first announced, as always, wrestling fans were excited to see what the team at 2K Sports had in store for consumers. But with news lurking online that Yuke's would not be assisting any longer with the development of the game, many fans questioned whether or not this game would even be published. And then the game came out. Leading up to the game, there was a huge lack of information. Word got out online that the game had new controls, and some people thought that 2K Sports may actually change the direction of the game. But that just simply wasn't the case. This was clearly apparent by the numerous amount of negative reviews placed online by gaming journalists and YouTube creators at launch. A game that has a bad roster, lack of game modes, or creativity is something I can actually live with. But a game that is not playable goes against everything I have ever said since the beginning of this channel. It's all about longevity. And by the release of 2K20, I would have hoped that 2K could have solved that problem. Unfortunately, creating a game with a long shelf life is difficult when you're creating a game that has to be playable to begin with. And this is the problem with WWE 2K20. WWE 2K20 needed competition, but they simply just didn't have any. And while Fire Pro is considered a great game, its playstyle truly makes it an alternative to wrestling games that we all know and love, but it's just not the same. Here enters Virtual Basement. The company known for bringing titles such as Ark Survival, Broomstick League, and many more have teased on social media that a new wrestling game is on the rise and coming to the market soon. With numerous talent signed on from Ring of Honor and Impact Wrestling, Virtual Basement has already drawn a lot of attention to its social platform because they're looking to become a major competitor to WWE 2K20. Guys like Brian Pillman Jr., Fallah Bah, Matt Sydal, and Jonathan Gresham have already been confirmed. And while I can't tell you everybody who's going to be in this game, I can already tell you from the ones I've been told, this game is already starting to look impressive. WWE 2K20 could have been good, but it wasn't. And now a lot of fans are really debating what they're going to spend their $60 on next year. With the new consoles coming out this upcoming holiday season, many fans are already turned off by this recent release by 2K, and now they want more from competitors. As you guys know, on this channel, we've talked a lot about AEW teasing a video game. There's been a lot of talk about them reviving a very special old engine that we all know and love, and whether or not that actually comes to fruition, it has us wrestling fans wondering what's really going to happen when another wrestling game hits the market. Of course, just like WWE 2K20, fans are going to be skeptical. There's other games that are developed that have been independently created and uploaded to Steam, as well as other platforms, but they just really haven't caught the attention of wrestling fans like WWE 2K20. Now, when I tell you guys that this roster is sick, I can tell you that this roster is sick. It's not just a bunch of no-names or independent guys. There's a lot of people that might surprise you, and that right there is a big reason for people to get excited as it is. This is going to feel and look different from WWE 2K20, and that might be a really, really good thing for Virtual Basement. Time will tell with the game modes that are going to be implemented in the game, but I can certainly tell you that I already have a lot of excitement for this release. We don't even know anything about the AEW video game, so until we start really learning about AEW's video game, while it is being rumored to be developed by Yuke's, we just don't know what's going to happen. And until we actually have something on the surface, Virtual Basement's going to be the closest thing to a WWE video game that we've seen in many years. When speaking privately to the spokesperson at Virtual Basement, I've been able to learn a lot about their future direction for the game. I've been able to learn about the fact that this game is going to feel a lot like No Mercy and Here Comes the Pain. And I'm going to assume, based on those words being spoken, that this game is going to be a little bit more fun and arcadey. And I actually think that's what this wrestling world needs. WWE 2K has been a phenomenal simulation series. I think we've seen a lot of improvement over the years, and then we were caught by a huge disappointment with WWE 2K20, and whether or not 2K can actually rebound will say a lot. But an arcadic, fun wrestling game experience is what's going to promote longevity. I've talked about this a lot on my channel, and for those who have actually subscribed to me for a very, very long time, prior to actually talking about wrestling news and rumors and giving my opinions and fantasy booking, I was live streaming WWE 2K, and I was playing WWE 2K on a nightly basis with friends and communicating with the people in the community, and quite honestly, I had a good time. The graphics were incredible. The simulation felt pretty damn legit, but it still wasn't Here Comes the Pain. It wasn't like No Mercy. It felt like 2K was losing a little bit of its fun. And unfortunately, once you take the fun out of the game, it kind of gives you a reason to no longer play. So longevity is pretty much everything to me. I play sports video games all the time, and one of the things that I've done really, really well with sports games is creating a competitive atmosphere. People have talked about this on YouTube for several years. In fact, people on my Twitter timeline are still talking about this. Esports is huge. It's bigger than ever, and people love esports right now. But when it comes to WWE, there seems to be no competitive atmosphere to go along with that. And I think that's kind of been a concern for a lot of consumers in general. At the end of the day, a wrestling video game could be cool again, but it takes a very special company to do so. While I hope that Virtual Basement does all of these things, it's going to be pretty unrealistic to expect them to have a bigger game than WWE 2K. But then 2K20 came out, and now it seems like it could be very, very easy. I know about the roster, I know a lot about what's being put into the game, and I'm starting to really understand the vision for this game, but we got to hope that the vision comes to life. The transparency between Virtual Basement and its consumers and its fans is incredible. The fact that I've been able to communicate with them on Twitter privately and discuss these things have just made things a lot easier, because I want to get behind a game developer who truly knows what wrestling fans want. And the nice thing about wrestling games is if you simply just make a good one, you don't even have to be a wrestling fan to buy it. And that's really important. So for whatever reason, 2K21 may be a very questionable purchase for people, but whatever comes out from Virtual Basement can really make 2K really change up their approach this year. And I think that's kind of what needs to happen. I really hope that 2K realizes that, 2K21 or whatever it's being called has to be different. It has to be unlike any gaming experience that has come from 2K. And maybe it's too late. Maybe it's not. Time will tell. Now, one of the things I personally want to see out of a new wrestling video game, so whether this is Virtual Basement's new title, whether it is the release of an AEW video game, I want to see some craziness. I want to see some wackiness. I want to see some cool weapons, cool match types, an awesome creative suite. And most importantly, I want a smooth and fun online experience. The fact that I can play Call of Duty, the fact that I can play Fortnite with over 100 people in a lobby and be able to have a really awesome time doing so, I just sometimes question why a wrestling game can't have that. And I don't know. It's never really been figured out by 2K. I think through all the years, the one thing that was always lacking was the online experience. And we saw them try to introduce some new stuff with Road to Glory, and I thought those things would be pretty cool for the longevity of the game, but it just seems like after a few months of the game, it completely fell apart. And with 2K20, the game itself just simply wasn't playable. So I do know that the Virtual Basement game will be built off the Unreal Engine, and that's how the game is being developed right now. The graphics look incredible. I am going to take a very, very big guess and say that this game will be ready for next-gen consoles. And whether or not I buy WWE 2K21 or not, I do want to implement more gaming to this channel with more live streams, just like I did about a year or two ago. And I think that's going to be really, really important for this channel. It's, it's really cool talking about wrestling news, and it's really cool about, discussing people with wrestling and fantasy booking and all those awesome things about wrestling. We'll continue doing that, but I do want to add a layer of fun to the channel, and I think gaming is the way to do that. If only I had a wrestling game to actually do that with. Of course, AEW's video game could come out in the future. We're still learning about that. There's a lot of rumors, but I think at this time, my excitement and my attention is going towards Virtual Basement. And I think depending on how that game releases and some of the concepts that are introduced on there, I think will kind of determine what kind of wrestling stuff we do on this channel in terms of gaming. I'm very interested to hear your guys' opinions on this. I know typically I don't talk about wrestling video games anymore, but I think you guys can understand why. And with that being said, I want to know what you guys want on this channel. Do you guys want more Fire Pro? Do you guys want some WWE 2K? Personally, I think WWE 2K should completely change the brand of their wrestling video games, and I understand that WWE doesn't make it easy for them, and I understand that there's a lot of good that comes with the 2K branding, but 2K20 was a big flop, and it's not just whether or not I say it. The big opinion out there from majority of people is that the game was a flop. SmackDown vs. Raw, maybe that needs to come back. Maybe WWE 2K21 needs to just be so completely different. But until we start to learn about that game and what's actually happening with that game, I just simply can't be excited. And when I saw these screenshots that were sent to me from the spokesperson at Virtual Basement, I just have to be real with you guys. As a wrestling gaming fan, I'm all for the ride. I want to see what they can do. I want to see how they could pull it off. And quite honestly, I think it can happen. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you guys want more gaming content on this channel? Let me know, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys for watching. This is Anthony, Ango, from Destination PW. Take care.
You have arrived at your destination.